Welcome back. This is the last of our first round matches here on stream 2. Welcome if you are joining us or switching over from the other stream, in which Dan Dawson is providing some splendid commentary, I'm sure. But here for some sense, it's me, Chris Murphy, and Scott Mitchell and John Michael providing the entertainment on the hockey. Former Lakeside World Champion Mitchell, clad in pink. Scotty Dog.
John to throw for the ball.
Meeting with Michael.
25.
Mitchell, who attempted to come
25.
through qualifying school, didn't make it, but then won his second Challenge Tour event as a PDC player. Put himself to the top of the pile in terms of trying to...
Bullseye.
Play in Players' Championship tournaments. Lost his first match against Michael van Gerwen last weekend, but then won his first match here yesterday. That was against James Wilson. He then lost out to Krzysztof Ratajski.
60.
We did have that Wilson-Mitchell matchup here on stream 2. A 6-4 success in the end.
26.
For Mitchell, who actually won the last 4 legs of the match to turn that on its head.
95.
Excellent Sunday afternoon viewing so far here on stream 2.
125.
Wins for Jamie Hughes, 6-3 over Scott Waits. Same scoreline for Wesley Harms over Krzysztof Tkachuk. And then a wonderful win for Darius Labanauskas, who averaged
97.
Well over 100 in his victory. 6-1 against Michael Smith. Labanauskas will meet the winner of this match in the second round. We'll have some second round action
86.
from a different board here. The next match coming up will feature Glenn Durrant and Jesus Nogueira, having both won their first matches, and then the winners of the games between Ricky Evans and James
81.
Wilson, and Niels Donnevelt and Adam Huckvale will go head-to-head after that. We'll bring you some results that I haven't yet mentioned at the conclusion of this leg, so keep your ears peeled for some interesting developments here at Players' Championship 4. Both players managing to leave 168.
45.
And Mitchell not managing to leave much better after that visit, but he is on a finish now.
78.
1, 2, 3. It sounds easy, but it certainly isn't the easiest finish on the board. Easier now.
66.
Looking at the ball.
98.
Looking at the ball.
65.
Neither player managed to find it. And double 8. We'll see Mitchell hold his throw in the first leg. So as I was saying, a few more players in the hat for the second round. Ross Smith is one of them. He's beaten
45.
Justin Pipe 6-5. Chris Dobie, who reached the quarterfinals yesterday and had Michael van Gerwen under pressure before losing a handsome lead in that match. Well, he's started his campaign today with a 6-2 success over William Borland.
68.
Danny Noppert, who landed a 9-dart finish here yesterday, has beaten Adam Hunt 6-3 in round 1. Conan Whitehead with a very impressive performance, 6-2 against Keegan Brown, and an average 123.7. Not far behind him in terms of standard, Gabriel Clements, the German giant, has averaged 102 in a 6-4 win against Big Ben, Benito van der Pas.
125.
Madus Razma has seen off Steve Beaton 6-2. Also a win for Simon Whitlock, 6-3 for the Wizard against Jamie Lewis.
60.
And Daniel Larsson, the Swedish talent, has seen off Reece Robinson in round 1 by the odd leg in 11.
$126.
John Michael,
86.
multiple Greek national champion, born in Limassol in Cyprus. Had to work hard to hold on to his tour card, but has managed to cash in each of the 3 Players' Championship events that have been held so
81.
far, including a run to the last 32 here yesterday. Well, we don't like that from Mitchell, do we?
57.
And he doesn't like it either. I'll never really understand going for treble 14 on 82 with 3 darts in hand, especially when your opponent's on a finish.
92.
Well, Michael fails to make him pay, but had he gone the conventional route, not only would have had a dart at a double in the previous visit, he would have had 3 darts
Game
in
shot.
hand for that double. As it is, he only needed 1. John Michael up against it then.
$60.
Has fired in
180.
25 180s already on the floor this season. John Michael. Almost called him Michael
100.
Michael then. Maybe that's his brother. Well, that was his 26th.
$30.
But he's only managed to follow it with 30 points, and that is not the kind of return that you want to be getting from 3 darts, because Scott Mitchell has just doubled it with 1 dart.
140. $100. $130.
Scott Mitchell having it all his own way so far.
140.
Pressure on him this time though, so he will need to try and take out this and not allow Michael the opportunity to have a go at the 51.
Game shot.
And that's excellent stuff. Scott Mitchell yesterday was struggling down at that department. He actually changed tact halfway through the game and started trying to leave double top rather than double 16 and double 8 because he wasn't getting near them. But today,
58.
he started superbly in his favoured area of the board. And that is why John Michael finds himself 3-0 behind. And Mitchell starting to play with freedom.
99.
And we might see plenty of him this year
140.
on the Pro Tour. Yes, he failed to win a tour card at Q School, but the early part of the season is when most of the Premier players ply their trade, and as the year goes on and the calendar gets busier and busier, many of them opt
60.
for breaks and holidays, and the rule is that the players at the top of the Challenge Tour fill those spots, get first refusal at least, and Scott Mitchell
140.
Finds himself at the top of the pile, having won one of the events already. If he continues to play well there, then he may get more and more opportunities here. And who knows what that could lead to. A player of his calibre.
60.
It looks as if Michael is going to
131.
get himself into the match here. Not really any score that could pile pressure on the Greek.
100. $16.
Well, he might yet resolve to somehow lose the leg. Let's see. 180 to leave double one.
100.
Well, it's harder to hit when your leg score says 0, but finally John Michael has hit that double and reduces the deficit to a couple of legs. No need for Scott to panic just yet. One interesting match that's going on right now is a meeting between Christian Bunzer and Lisa Ashton. Bunzer was beaten by Ashton last week in Barnsley.
100.
And boy, is he trying to dish out revenge. 5-1 up against the Lancashire Rose.
$43.
The big name departures have been few and far between this afternoon. The two top ranked players to be defeated are those, one of them that we had on the live stream in the last match, Michael Smith. Daryl Gurney has followed, and also Dave Chisnell
100.
out in the first round. But aside from that, most of the so-called big boys through.
140. 122. 100.
A reminder that coming up next here is going to be Glenn Durrant against Jesus Naguera. James Wilson has beaten Ricky Evans 6-5, so Wilson will return to this stream for the second consecutive day to take on the winner of the match featuring Neil Zonneveld and Adam Huckvale.
$140.
Well, that's a well-timed ton 40 by Michael, because it puts the pressure on this. This is going to be hard, this. He's only got about half the bed to aim at, but somehow when he went to the segment where he had the least to shoot at, but he found it with pinpoint precision. And Scott Mitchell leads 4-1.
$100. $100. $60.
Have just had confirmation that that match I mentioned between Lisa Ashton and Christian Bunzer has finished 6-1 to Bunzer.
85. $140. $140.
Well, a 180 would have got Scott Mitchell down to a finish. But 140 does apply some pressure, and it looks as if John Michael is feeling it.
55.
Tried to readjust to hunt down the treble, couldn't find it, and Mitchell probably in pole position in this leg. Certainly in pole position in the match.
60.
But that just hands the initiative back to Michael, who is looking for another one of those.
94.
Leaves himself 52. Mitchell needs one treble for a dart at double. He's done that bit. There's a single.
96.
But this time he can't find double top. Is there a way back for John Michael?
Game shot.
There might well be.
$81.
Stephen Bunting has beaten
81.
Ron Muhlenkamp in a last leg decider. A match in which Muhlenkamp missed 7 match darts. Bunting,
140.
the beneficiary. Just
60.
you can't cross the line until you hit the match-winning double, and whatever the position seems to be in the match, it's never unassailable.
140.
We saw a case of that from Mitchell himself yesterday, a comeback win against James Wilson. We've seen Wesley Harms weather
100.
a storm this afternoon against Christoph Kachuk, winning the last 5 legs of that match. I have to say, this arena's weathering a storm. We've heard the rain battering it down on the roof throughout the course of the afternoon.
60.
I'm sure you at home are enjoying the opportunity to stay indoors, put your feet up, brew in hand, darts on screen, roast in the oven if you're lucky.
140. Game shot.
Well, it's almost an action replay of a previous 80 checkout. He left himself a little bit more room to manoeuvre that time. It's an example of kind of using the darts to gauge the weight.
60.
Almost building a ladder to that double top, and twice it's been a very effective checkout for Mitchell.
100. $40.
And the game may well be up for Michael. The match between Niels Zonneveld and Adam Huckveld is currently 4-1 to Zonneveld. That's on the
100.
Well, the winner of that will be on the stream board in a couple of games' time. If that match hasn't quite finished at the end of this one, there might be a 5-minute break or so before Glenn Durrant and Jesus Nogueira
100.
begin their match here on the stream. That's because we have to wait for the board to be completed, the first round matches from that board to be completed before the next ones kick off.
85. $121.
Jelle Klaassen is through to the second round, a 6-4 win for him against Gert Nenches.
$60.
Well, only 60 from Mitchell here. That means that Michael has a chance to keep the match going at least a little longer.
$85.
Perhaps not.
$100.
Well, he threatened it, Mitchell, but now he knows that he's only 2 darts away if he's allowed them. Bullseye to stay alive.
70.
Millimetres away from prolonging this match, but now he has to rely on missed darts at double from Scott Mitchell, and we haven't seen many of those. That's a target. Double 10.
36.
We have seen enough for Michael to get 2 darts to keep it going.
Game shot.
And he does keep it going. That probably means there won't be a break at the end of this match. Niels Zonneveld 5-1 up, Scott Mitchell 5-3 up. Bit of confusion about who's throwing first. It is Scott Mitchell serving for the match, so to speak, here at Robin Park Tennis Centre.
60.
But it's not exactly an ace at the start of this leg.
$47.
Off the hook. And I think that has been part of the problem for John Michael in this match, when Mitchell has tossed in some dross.
140.
Michael has more often than not followed and not been able to capitalise.
$125.
And it's amazing how often you see that in this game, isn't it? When a player has a poor visit, the other one kind of thinks, right, I've got to hit big here, and perhaps tries a little too hard to do so.
100.
Loses that freedom of throw and ends up chucking in some filth themselves.
59.
Mitchell at the moment being allowed to gallop to the finish line unchallenged.
60.
Again, he's opened the door. Can he take advantage this time? Ton 40, the minimum requirement, you would feel.
85.
Well, that is not enough, particularly after the first start. He'll be very, very disappointed. Treble 19. Not to be, but he'll just tidy this up.
133.
Left himself double 4 for the match.
100.
And he has looked in control of the match pretty much from the start. Scott Mitchell raced into a 3-0 lead and has kept himself clear for most of the match. Not much that Michael could do. Mitchell wins to book his place in the second round, where he will take on Darius Labanauskas, and it is from one former Lakeside World Champion to another, because coming up next here on Stream 2, it's Glenn Durrant.